My name is Jeffrey Kennedy, and welcome to Elliott Wave Junctures. The wave principle divides price action into two categories. You have motive wave price action or motive wave patterns, specifically the impulse wave and the ending diagonal, and then you also have corrective wave patterns, which include zigzags, flats, and triangles. In today's episode of Elliott Wave Junctures, we're going to be studying triangles. Let's begin. Now the first pattern, the first type of Elliott wave corrective pattern there is, and certainly the most common, is a zigzag, which is a 5-3-5 pattern. We have 5 waves in wave A, 3 waves in wave B, followed by a 5-wave move in wave C. This is a good example of a zigzag. The next type of pattern you'll encounter is going to be the flat, which is a 3-3-5 pattern, and its distinguishing characteristic is that wave B of the formation ends at or near the origin of wave A. In this instance here, we have our 3-wave move down for wave A, a 3-wave move back up for wave B of the flat, and then that's followed by a 5-wave move down in wave C. But again, today we're going to be focusing on triangles, and I want to begin with a good example of a triangle that occurred in the Indian rupee. Now what we have here is a very large triangle that took many months to unfold, but it's a 5-wave pattern identified as waves A, B, C, D, and E. Now there's a few things about the triangle which are worth writing down or keeping note of. Number one, each wave of a triangle subdivides into 3 smaller waves. Also, alternating waves within the triangle tend to adhere to 618 multiples. For example, wave D will be a 618 multiple, oftentimes, of wave B. Now, whenever the triangle finishes, the move following that formation is referred to as a triangle thrust, and the move following that, the triangle thrust, that tends to be either very small or very large. Rarely is there a middle ground with the triangle thrust. So when you see that triangle thrust, look for either a small move or a big move. And a good clue to monitor is going to be your volume and momentum. If volume and momentum are very strong, then look for the large thrust. If momentum and volume are very weak or very small, then look for the small thrust. Now also too, what's very important to remember about triangles is that they always form in the final position or the move preceding the final structure. For example, triangles may only form in the wave 4, wave B, or wave X wave position. Wave 4 precedes the final move of that sequence, wave 5. Wave B precedes the final move of that sequence, which is wave C, and wave X precedes the final moves of that sequence, which would be an additional A, B, C, or WXY formation. So triangles always precede the final move within a sequence. In other words, they're a good indication that the party is about to come to an end. Now let's look at some triangles in 2 markets, specifically wheat and AMD, advanced micro devices. In wheat, if you're a subscriber to Futures Junctures, we've been following a contracting triangle in that market for some time. And I believe all we need now in this market is about, say, 3 trading days to the upside to give us that 3-wave move in wave E. And then thereafter we'll be looking for a triangle thrust down to about $6.25 a bushel. Now what's going to be very important moving forward in time, the remainder of this week and into next week, is that prices remain below the extreme of wave C. This is a contracting triangle, so we really don't want to see prices above the extreme of wave C, because if that happens, that actually negates or invalidates the interpretation. Another market where we're actually seeing a triangle come to completion, actually it's already ended, it ended at 381, and I've spoken about this market before. This is a stock, Advanced Micro Devices, ticker symbol is AMD. This is a very small triangle. It's a triangle in the 4th wave position, and it should yield a 5th wave move to the upside to roughly about, say, $4.75 a share. So as long as prices hold above 381, which is the extreme of wave E, we can consider that to be our critical support level. We should now look for that triangle thrust to the upside. That about does it for today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.